Ben, let me start off with Ben. Ben is the visitor, quote unquote. He just landed from Côte d'Ivoire. Mon frère.
What's good?
Comment tu vas?
French.
Oh, of course. I mean, you see, Nathan is a very tricky and slippery guy. I know him. Listen.
Welcome back, by the way.
Thank you very much. Côte d'Ivoire is an interesting place.
Yeah.
Aside the AFCON itself, it always opens your eyes to everything else. I would say, first of all, I saw a lot of things. You know, social media would be like, hey, what city is better? Abidjan or Accra? What this is that? What is that? I tell you for a fact that I didn't experience Doomsday. I experienced Doomsday once.
I see. When was this?
While I was there for, I think it was on the 7th or 8th day, and it lasted for like 30 minutes.
I see.
While I was there. Power was pretty stable. You know, these things, it could be because there was an AFCON. Hard to tell. Abidjan, I definitely think, is a prettier place than Accra. Ivorians are definitely more disciplined than Ghanaians.
Hey!
No, I'll tell you that for a fact.
I see.
Their discipline, you see, their discipline stretches to everything they do. If it is discipline in keeping their land borders, that is what they do. If it is discipline in supporting their national team, that's what they do. If it is discipline in chilling more than Ghanaians, that's what they do. In everything they do, they are actually very regimented, and I like that about them. I think there are a lot of things we can learn from the Ivorians. And basically, my thinking coming here was teach me culture, basically. Like, what's the culture of Ghanaian football? What's the culture of our football journey? What has it been like so far? Have we lost it? Are we still in it? Are we on the right path? I've heard a lot of my colleagues talk in the run-up to coming here. A lot of people are upset. I think that I've passed that stage of being upset about our national team. Yeah, I really have. And it's unfortunately sad, but that's what our leaders have brought us. I think, like we've always maintained, everything starts and stops with leadership. Even I always use us as a sports desk. If there's ever any query to be answered, it always comes to either myself or yourself. It's always like the leaders will have to answer to it. And so I've been very appalled by the level of leadership we've been served. And I saw at close quarters what other people did with their leadership. And this dovetails back into what I was saying about Ivorians. So after the drubbing at the
4-0.
Yep. After the drubbing at the Alassane Ouattara Stadium, look, I have never seen that type of atmosphere before. That stadium is state of the art. It was freshly built for the AFCON. Ivorians were passionate. Look, I have never seen Ghanaians support the Black Stars in that manner before. Never in my life. I'm telling you. Like the level of song, the level of passion. I've been in stadia since at least I was 9 years old.
Not even 2 years leading after the World Cup.
Listen, Ghanaians are passionate about the national team, but there's ways of expressing the passion I don't think we've reached yet. Like, I've never heard us in song from minute 1 to about minute 60 or 70, like 1 hour, until we know that the ship is really going down. That's how bad it was. And when this happened, look, I stepped outside briefly. You know what was going to happen? They were waiting, right, to celebrate their victory and then spill on to celebrate Ghana's victory. Football is cruel. Football is very cruel. When the game ended, their journalists, they were in a more subdued mood than we were.
So the Ivorian journalists, you
yes,
mean? Okay.
They were more in a more subdued mood than we. The fans, somebody was laying on the ground. I saw a couple of them. They lay on the ground for close to 15 minutes. They couldn't get up. And as soon as the defeat happened, the CAF security that was available called for reinforcement to the stadium. So if you got out of the perimeter, you would be shocked at the amount of security. I couldn't take pictures. You'd have been shocked at the amount of security. But this speaks about preparedness. I mean, if you know the history of Côte d'Ivoire politically, you can situate this.
Oh yeah, of course.
In how they feel about these things.
They've been through
what started as minor crowd trouble when their national team was losing by 4-0. Some fans obviously unhappy, was quickly quashed by the security services available. Everybody in town was quiet. The town was extremely tense that night, but everybody went to sleep. There was no misbehavior. Now, fast forward and bring it to the national team. Are you aware? Are you Nathan aware that Keto Kriku has hired more coaches than he has AFCON wins? I'm not making this up. If you think I'm making this up, call your researchers. You are the research people. We'll wait for an answer. We'll be here. 9 p.m. We'll be here. Are you aware that Mark Addo has led more committees than we have AFCON wins?
He's led more committees than we've had AFCON wins.
Yes, since
he like matches at the AFCON. Okay.
No, since he got involved with the Black Stars.
Okay.
World Cup committee chairman, AFCON 2021 committee chairman. Now he's the search committee chairman. He was search committee chairman for Milo. He's had a 4th one. So 4. In the last 3 major tournaments we've been to, the Kurt administration have won 1 match internationally. 1. And that was at the World Cup.
1 match?
1. They won 1. The 2 AFCONs we've been to, we haven't won a single match. In the World Cup, we won 1 match. True or false? If I'm lying, please check.
Okay, yeah, the World Cup, you won 1 match.
Great. But we are here because we have leaders who don't care. And like I said, I'm not angry about the national team anymore. I think I think we need to leave their national team for them. Like, as a country, as journalists, as Ghanaians generally, we need to leave their national team for them because the national team does not belong to us. And they are showing it to us in blue, red, black, and white. They are showing it to us with no form of remorse. Because tell me why a country that left here with players dressed as kings managed to finish a tournament where we topped our last worst performance, but they didn't show up as a collective. Nobody apologized as a collective, not the FA president. I've seen the ministry's apology. It looks like they took the old statement and retouched it and sent out the flyer.
The new statement is longer than the old one. This one is 2 pages.
You see,
the one from 2 years ago is 1 page.
You see, these are the things that I talk about. It's the tone of what you are saying. I don't have time to even get into it because it does not present a roadmap for how Ghana football will be rebuilt because our football is dead. I'll even get to that later. But for Kurt and his leadership, I think that they need to bow their heads down in shame. The optics, the scheming has brought nothing. And you see, when you want to walk in arrogance, you walk with results. Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi. If they tell you their backstories, they are no angels. Florentino Perez. These are people who have done stuff. You understand? Danny Jordan, they have done stuff. Like, they have stuff to hold on to. If you talk about even Gianni Infantino, he will tell you that in his time, a country paid over 50 billion to host a World Cup. They have done stuff. They can show you hardcore evidence of what they have done. What have this FA done? And what have the people of Ghana done to warrant this level of disrespect? I don't understand. Like, I've been left confused. And I'll share personal stories with you about where we've gone and how bad down we've gone the road of no culture. There's literally no culture in our national team. 0 culture. And that's why we don't have a single win. The only times, right, when as journalists we start getting attention is when we start talking like this. You see them, they're in the background, they are sending messages to their interests because their interests are being trampled on. Why is he talking like that on radio? Why are you not getting Ghana AFCON wins? Why do you think that we should give you the power to even hire a coach when you have not won a single match at an AFCON? You have not overseen a single win. And do you people understand how serious this is? Ghana. So
you're saying that we haven't won an AFCON game in how long?
In the last 2 editions, 6 matches played, no win.
So 2023, we went to Cameroon.
Yep.
We lost to Morocco.
Yep.
1-0.
Yep.
Drew 1-1 with Gabon.
Yep.
Then we lost 3-2 to Comoros.
That's 3 games.
That's 1 point.
1 point.
Yeah.
In 1 point from 9.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then a few days ago, we lost 2-1 to Cape Verde.
Drew 2-2.
2-2 with Egypt.
Yeah.
Then another 2-2 with Mozambique.
Yeah.
That's 2 points.
So 2 points. So we've gone from 1 point
out of a
to 2
possible
points. So out of a possible 18 points, the Black Stars have 3.
Nathan, you have eaten more meals today than Keto Kriku's administration have AFCON wins.
Hey!
Check the facts. If I'm lying, tell me I'm lying.
Is that poor?
Listen, you cannot walk around with this level.
No, wait, hold on. So you're saying from 2022 or from 2021 till 2023, the Black Stars have won 1 match at a tournament.
Why is it hard for you to
No, it's now that I'm actually remembering that there was a World Cup sandwich between the other AFCON and one match in 3 international tournaments.
One match. And let me tell you what I have.
Stephen Appiah's Black Stars.
Yeah.
Michael Essien's Black Stars.
We went from making semi-final berths, I think 4 times on the bounce or 5 times on the bounce.
We played the semis 08.
Yep.
2010.
Yep.
2012.
Tell me.
2013. 2015.
And you know what's ironic?
2017. So the last semi-final we played was 2017.
Then we were...
We did the
final.
final.
Yeah, we did the final in
2015 as well.
2015.
And even then, we were not satisfied as a people. Even then, our FAs, sometimes they apologize, sometimes they give players jeeps. I'll not even get there. All I'm saying is, our culture is missing. As for Black Stars and culture, it is missing. Right now, it is a full-blown money machine.
Cash cow.
The Black Stars, listen, Nathan, the Black Stars are a pampered child because the Black Stars is the only brand in this country that gets everything it wants. If the Black Stars say that they want A, they get A. In fact, the only time in recent memory where the Black Stars haven't gotten what they want is when they said they were going to camp in South Africa. You saw that game we played against Egypt?
Mm-hmm.
It was because our reputation was on the line. And those are the only times. And those are the only times when our leaders know that it's about to go to the dogs. And so they will do everything to save the situation. Look, can you imagine us going to have spent that kind of money in South Africa to come and win no game at an AFCON? Look, the FA should understand that. How many coaches have they hired? They've hired 5 coaches, I believe, in that short span of time. 5 coaches.
5.
I believe.
5 coaches. CK.
They hired CK Akono. They hired Milo. They hired Otoado. I think they hired Chris. No, they'll say they didn't hire Chris.
They hired him.
But it is under their administration. So administratively, they hired Chris Hughton. So I'd say 4. Now, each of these coaches has been abysmal. I have heard, when I was coming here yesterday, I heard in the news that a roadmap has been put out to hire a new coach.
21-day roadmap.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding? Look, how can you decide to go and hire a coach? You have not seen the technical report of the tournament. You have not received any form of government report on what they think about the tournament. The Parliamentary Select Committee have not presented anything on the tournament. But you have already put together a roadmap spearheaded by the guy
who brought us Bitter Milo, Adam.
Look, and I'm saying that for McAdoo, I have nothing against him. But I am surprised. I thought, hey, if people have favor, somebody pour that kind of oil on my head. Because how do you go to a World Cup, fail as the management committee head or the Black Stars entourage head? You go to an AFCON, do same. Be put in charge of the committee to hire Milo. Milo knew that he was finished. I'm sure Milo was having a laugh when Ghana called him about coming to do the job. And then he called his old friend.
Yes, sir.
He called his old friend to come and do a translator's job because the gold mine was open again. They couldn't believe it. When their financial window with Ghana had closed, Ghana decided down the line that Milo, who his own country's people had no use for, should be coming to coach the national team of Ghana again. That person who brought us that atrocity has been given the mandate to hire us another coach. What have we done? No, I'm very serious. What have we done as people? Because this FA, they've not even apologized to Algeria, right? Mm-hmm. Algeria, who won the AFCON in 2019. They have put out a statement after their elimination.
Let me just read.
You should read that statement for us.
This is Walid Sadi, president of the Algerian Football Federation. He says, quote, "We apologize to the fans of the national team and the Algerian people. We regret the way the Warriors presented themselves in the AFCON, exiting in the first round. We made every effort and provided ideal conditions for our players to shine and achieve the goal. We apologize once again to the millions of Algerians who love their national team and will undoubtedly continue to support it in future competitions." And so they go on. And he says, Sadi urged the unity of efforts from everyone, especially the loyal fans, emphasizing their continued support for the national team. So those are.
And again, I think the last one, he again went on to apologize.
Yes, he said
again.
we renew our apologies to the fans of the
I
national
have never
team.
heard a renewal of apology before.
Says we promise to correct.
In only romantic
I have
says,
never heard
we
a
promise,
renewal of apology.
he says we
before.
promise to correct the mistakes of the past with one goal.
That's right.
To restore our position regionally and globally.
Thank you, Nathan. Thank you very much for
That
that.
is an association that respects its stakeholders.
Exactly.
It's an association
Thank
that
you.
understands that the supporters are your primary stakeholders.
That's right.
It's an organization that knows that they hold the national team in trust for the people.
Yeah.
And the national team is not for an individual.
Yeah.
Or you can't just do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
We fund the national team.
Exactly.
When we speak to power, they say that, oh, you are a hater. But you see, the national team is for us. When I say that I have done 47 countries and about 15 World Cups in between all the national teams, I say so with pride because everything football has given me.
That's right.
When the game is thriving, it reflects in my pockets.
That is true.
And for the ordinary people on the street, the least they can get is the happiness that they will let them sleep
happiness.
well at night. When you come to power, our taxes fund the Black Stars. So you cannot come from an AFCON and say that you do not owe us an apology. You do not need anybody to tell you that. I remember after the last exit, Keto Kreku, in one of his interviews, said, when he was asked if you apologize to us, said, every Ghanaian has the right to voice their opinion about the Black Star. That was arrogance. It was arrogance.
At its peak.
And when you are that arrogant, you want to match it with something. But zero.
Ghana Premier League
But
is not
I do
thriving.
not blame them. I keep saying that for a nation or for as a development student, for anybody to progress in anything, you should have a plan. You should have a policy. What is our policy? It's our policy just to make sure that we thrive on the euphoria of the Black Stars without looking at exactly what will make us succeed. We can have a huge conversation about all the things we need to do to be a football nation. If you ever thought we were, we haven't been in a very long time. We haven't been because which football nation will not win an AFCON in 40 years? In my lifetime, we haven't won the Nations Cup. Which football team back to back will go and exit at tournaments like that? Even this qualifiers. We
Three
were
competitions
just
And
back
not think there's anything wrong.
Three
and
competitions.
Yes, I think there is absolutely nothing wrong. So you should walk into town and decide to set up a committee to look for a coach.
And you see, where the insult is for me, Veronica, sorry to cut you, is where you say that you go as a royal family, right? You are kings and queens. Kings, in that sense. You get eliminated and only about 10 or 12 of the players show up. I see Inaki Williams in action for Bilbao.
The next day, and he scores.
He's literally on the pitch and about to score. Excuse me, but that is a no-no from a team or a country that is serious. Nathan, look, and this is where I think political power comes in. I feel like politicians have enabled the Black Stars.
Of course.
They have allowed the Black Stars to cultivate habits that I think will become a canker that will not be able to solve 100 years from now. We'll be talking, or our kids will be talking, and we still wouldn't have won
You
enough.
talk about politicians pampering the Black Stars. Let me read you some numbers. Now,
Yeah.
I curled this from the Honorable Sami Okojo to our Black Horse post
Brilliant.
he put up.
Brilliant.
Now, listeners, if you are listening to me, note these numbers down very carefully. Now, I quote his statement. He says, documents submitted to Parliament by Ghana's Youth and Sports Ministry a few weeks ago have shed light on a number of these Black Stars expenditure items. 1. 2023 AFCON qualifier, Ghana versus Angola, home and away. We spent 7.4 million cedis. 2023 AFCON qualifier, Ghana versus Madagascar. We spent 8.3 million cedis.
For a broke nation.
2023 AFCON qualifier, Ghana versus the Central African Republic, home and away. We spent 3.4 million cedis. April to June 2023 salaries of the coach and signing on fees, 3.3 million cedis.
Yeah.
The official ministerial documents also reveal that it cost the taxpayer a significant 5.3 million cedis to airlift supporters of the Black Stars to the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar. This is an MP who is saying this, not me.
Yep.
The 5 items alone amount to a colossal 27.96 million.
First round is it?
Tell me that this is not a team that is wallowing in luxury.
First
Look,
round is it?
you know what?
27.9 million cedis.
You know what blows me? Let me just wrap it up. At the Black Stars, right? We get used to the luxuries that the elite national teams are wallowing in, but we do not produce the same level of results. We don't hold our leaders to the same level of accountability. What I am saying, as far as Keto Kreku's administration is concerned, that there are things that have happened that I have seen at close quarters at this tournament that have appalled me. The environment
Tell us.
created for Chris Hughton to work, I have been shocked by it, to the point where Hanchos next to the president think that they can threaten the national team coach. I think that is absolutely appalling. And then there's a charade to make it look like, oh, it's just an angry fan that's making it happen. These things are unfortunate. Look, I was privy to another incident that happened right outside the door of the mix zone. I won't even talk about it.
Oh, no more.
Maybe you should.
I won't even
That
know.
no,
You see, some things,
No, me
some
hitting
things,
him,
some
but
things
see,
are
I'm hitting
security.
him.
Some things are
Relax,
security
relax.
reasons,
No more
so I don't talk about it.
Because if Keto
Hold on,
Kreku security can threaten our national team coach,
Yep.
Nanado, His Excellency, should go and invade the GFA head office and clear everybody for that, so that FIFA will
It's
ban
happening,
Ghana.
but it's
So that
happening.
FIFA will
Coach,
ban Ghana.
hold on.
And will put our house in order.
Calm down.
Keto Kreku bo beno fene. Bo obi
Yeah.
Hold
Chale,
on.
we're
Hold
going
on. Hold on. Coach,
We're not
I'll-
saying you moko threaten obo. And you will put together
And you know
your
what?
bodyguards, your security people, your fans to go and threaten
Unless
our national team coach.
Say
Let me
that
tell
he's
you-
a government coach.
Let me tell- let- let-
Boom, I want
And
better
they
cake.
can't you.
Hold on,
Oh, yeah.
hold on. Let me tell you.
What?
And let
Yeah.
me tell you what happens when you do that. When players know, right, that the FA president has a machinery in place, and it's something we do in our Ghana Premier League. When they want to fire a coach and they don't know how to do it, and they have their own interest, they'll send one Seydumba to go and disrupt or lock the training
Lock
ground.
training ground.
They'll tell the hierarchy of a club will tell you that we cannot guarantee your safety as a manager, so don't go to the training ground. That is what they have taken to the national team.
Can you
That
imagine?
is exactly what's happening at the national team now. And we saw it. These people are documented people. We know them. The assistant to the FA, we know him. There's another guy who is, I think, an owner of Avenos Stars. He was also in the mix. We know him. These are not people we do not know. We know these people. Now, that has trickled down to the team leadership. You know what's happening with team leadership? The team, right? Members of this national team have their PR people threatening to beat up journalists. I'm telling you.
Imagine.
No, I'm telling you something.
Wait, members
of
players.
players,
You mean
in this national
players?
team. Yes,
Okay.
players in this national team have their PR people threatening to beat up journalists for speaking their minds. That's what's going on with this now. Do you know why? Because the leadership does it, and it is fine. The leadership can threaten them. If you are Chris Hughton, right, and you know that your employers have people who can cause a stir like that after a defeat, can you work? Can you do your job?
You cannot.
Can you do your job?
You cannot.
As for Chris Hughton, tactically, he has his own issues. Nobody doubts that. He's not been an A-list coach for us in any sense.
Exactly.
But if you create an atmosphere, right, where you cannot work. Imagine, did you remember the speeches that were granted when old washed Milo was being hired?
Yes. He was
Yeah,
carrying
yeah.
drink on the table. He's not matra
When
virtually disgracing Siki Akono.
when Chris Hughton was being hired, none of them turned up.
Oh, yes.
He had to deal with the FA's PR person.
Yes.
And
It
that
was only Mr.
and that-
Asantichum
and
who
that
was
has
there that
literally
day.
been Chris Hughton's relationship with the FA since he got here.
Members of the executive committee are happy to tell you in private that it's the government's coach, and we
Yes.
do not like Chris.
Exactly.
I hear the nickname.
Oh, you're a buying coach.
Yes, I hear the nickname that the FA people were calling him
Nanado.
by was a buying coach.
Yeah.
He's excellent.
Is
And-
it not
and-
the president?
and
Is it
as a-
not the
see-
nation that pays?
What I would
Yes,
say, what I would
excellent.
say is this: if the president cares about football, because brand Black Stars is more powerful than any brand in
Any
this
brand
country.
in this
You can argue all day you want about it. I will not. I won't engage.
Not even
I won't.
NPP,
I
not
won't
even
engage
NDC.
anybody.
Not
in this
even the
argument.
two political so-called powerful parties.
The president,
the Black Stars brand
if
is
the
bigger than
president
all of them.
cares about brand Black Stars,
What?
he needs to call the FA president to the Jubilee House.
Immediately invade
The
the
sports minister needs to get called to the Jubilee House.
Thank you.
The Black Stars players, they need to calm down.
Everybody should report.
Nonsense that happened at Inaki Williams, Bilbao, France contingent, Sochaux. That nonsense needs to stop.
No.
You went to the tournament as a group. If you've embarrassed us as a nation,
Come back.
you need to come back here and answer with the leaders who went with you. We don't do things like that. You see what's happening? That's the culture we don't have that I'm talking about. Now the tournament is over. Inaki Koni Krom, Gideon Mensah and Salisu and Monaco, they are gone to their
say
Do you think that these players care about winning? I saw them with my eyes when they lost that game.
don't care.
When the media were getting hostile. Look, they had their earrings on, they had their $50,000 watches on. They were just looking at us like, who are these people even? Like, look, they looked at us with no remorse. So one of them actually had the nerve to square up with us. Mohamed Salisu.
Mohamed Salisu.
Mohamed Salisu, the
actually,
same guy we went to beg. The same Salisu we went to beg. He squared up with somebody and said, if they like, they should let the person beyond the barricade. I'm like, what? Are you a national team player who's just done this load of rubbish? Who's gone to 2 AFCONs and won no game? But the players do not care. You know why? The leaders do not care.
Juxtapose that to the Egyptian
This
thing.
is
and
a
so
money
that
machine.
Listeners will get the
This
idea.
is a money machine. Now I'm telling you about Mohamed Salah when I was coming inside here. You heard he's injured, right? And he was confirmed. Jurgen Klopp had confirmed that he was set to go to Liverpool. In fact, there was an uproar after Egypt's first draw against Mozambique. It was so bad, and Salah got spit roasted. And then he picked up that injury against Ghana, and they said he was going back. They said on Egyptian radio that if Salah was a man, he should go back to England. He should go. Did he go?
That's what he said.
Did you see Mohamed Salah going?
He's there. He's in Cote
He
d'Ivoire.
turned around his decision quick. He said he was going to Egypt. Liverpool's Mohamed Salah. Ghana, we don't have a Mohamed. We don't have a player with
Of
Mohamed
his
Salah's
size.
clout in
and-
this country. Mohamed Salah turned around, but our players who wore kente and kaftans and were swagging before the AFCON, they all left individually to their clubs, and nobody's good say anything about it. The only people who would care, maybe the Parliamentary Select Committee, weeks after, due to bureaucracies, and say we want to have a meeting via Zoom. Look, these guys have reached a point where, like I said, they are spoiled because they belong to brand Black Stars. The country and politicians know that brand Black Stars can wash away all sins. If the Black Stars had won this AFCON, we will forget about our economic problems like 2-3 months, and people will again take advantages to make money because it is brand Black Stars. There needs to come a point where Akufo-Addo says, you know what, enough is enough. You have dragged my brand in mud enough. We need to take an interest in what we are doing. You heard his response to our colleague when he was asked about the Jamaica Commission white paper. He said, to be honest, I had forgotten. It's not something that is part of
He
my
has
worries.
to read. Somebody needs to find him.
I read it.
The Black
Somebody
Stars-
needs to
Nathan,
find him a
Nathan,
copy.
The
I
Black
read
Stars
that
is
today.
the Black Stars, a golden statue that they throw money at. When it goes well, it washes their sins. When it doesn't, they don't really care.
You've reminded me of something.
Listen.
Last night, the
Listen,
last
Nathan.
thing I read. Oh, you finish.
Let me just finish.
You
with you.
finish.
Look,
Then I'll
for
say
the players, I don't blame them because there's no culture to guide them. They exist in this culture where people come in for 10 days and make a truckload of money and enjoy all the luxuries of life because they are affiliated with the national teams. Look at there are factions within the team. There are people who only speak German. They don't even talk to anybody else. There are people who are in the national team who only stick to their friends. There are people who will see a through pass.
Ball in catching
but they
again.
will
Just
never,
pass the ball
ever
through. We
pass
are
the
going
ball.
to score. All of a sudden,
You will
his
see
brother,
that
his brother
the
comes onto
dynamics
the pitch.
change, and all of a
he's crossing
sudden,
the ball.
these people have found their crossing boots. Look, they are not conspiracies. So I am privy to information, and you know there are some people who have made themselves gods of the national team. They think that only they have info on the national team. Relax. You are not the only person with
Beshi.
info on the national team. Relax.
No, Jigan.
Beshi.
Bashi.
Look, if we want, do you know how Joseph Penso was substituted from that final
no.
game? If
Then why?
If we want to get into it right
Chairman,
now,
not ten,
do you know
If we want to talk about the why.
Do you know that Joseph was ready to leave that game?
Yes.
Because if you know within yourself that you've been the best player on the pitch in 45 minutes and your head coach is yanking you, from the game, will you be happy?
Why?
And then they ask your head coach, and he says, you look like you are fatigued. He didn't even say you are fatigued, though. You look like. How can you tell a person is fatigued by looking at him?
Somebody who is
that
playing regular football.
Is that not why we even have a halftime 15-minute break?
Uh-huh.
They have what?
But that should tell you about what had happened in that. At that time, Chris Hughton had been threatened by a fan slash a Keto Kreko Hancho. So everybody knew that hell had broken loose. And so there was no control in the national team at that point. Look, at that point, they knew that the national team coach was getting fired. Everybody knew after Cape Verde that Chris Hughton was getting fired. If you didn't know, then you were joking. He was getting fired. And so the people who had their own power within the team, they were doing their own things. Joseph Pencil was sitting down with no explanation, and the coach did not speak to him either. As for Hughton, he has come and been politically correct with us. He's conducted himself as a gentleman for most part, because at least he has some cultural guidance. As for us as a national team, we have lost it. We need to use this opportunity to reset, because it is culture that has gotten Senegal where they are.
Simple.
Aliou Cisse, 2002 squad, promoted to national team head coach, built academies all over the country. Now they are CHAN champions, under 17, under 20, beach soccer champions. Yeah. And you know what El Hadj Diouf says? It is because of a strong partnership between federation
and the government.
And government.
They have built academies in every city. They have a plan that works. In the time, 2015 till now, that Aliou Cisse has been head coach of Senegal, we've hired at least 6 coaches in that same spell. We've gone to 2 AFCONs, at least in recent memory, and we've not won a single game, to whom it may concern.